Now coming over to our arithmetic operator. Our arithmetic operator is also a symbols like the plus symbol over here, and this operator is used to perform common mathematical operations like the plus operator over here, which goes by the name of addition and which is used to add values. And this is how we use it in our program, whereby x and y are our variable and addition operation is being performed for the values held by this variable. And these are the list of some arithmetic operator provided by the C++ compiler. You can pause the video and go through this list once. After that, we'll learn how to make use of the arithmetic operator in our program. But before we go ahead and make use of arithmetic operator in our program, there is a small concept that I want you all to understand, and that is the concept of expression. As you can see, these are nothing but example of expressions, whereby in the first case I have made use of variables in our expression, and the value evaluated after performing the addition operation gets stored in our result. The same goes with the second case, but in this case we have made use of constants instead of variables. And it is not necessary that you need to make use only of variables or only of constant. You can even mix match them, like you can make use of variables and a constant, or a constant and a variable as well. One thing that you must keep in mind is the data type should be the same. Like for example, if the value held by the variable is an integer number or a decimal number, then even the constant value should be an integer or a constant. It cannot be a string or a character. And if you look at this two expression, it's basically the same, which is performing the same thing. In the first case, the result is on the left hand side, while in the second case the result is on the right hand side. In the world of mathematics, these two expressions are considered to be perfectly accepted. But in the world of programming, the first expression is considered to be accepted and the second expression is considered as rejected. And the answer to that is that our compiler wants the result to always be on the left hand side of the expression and the evaluation part to be on the right hand side of the expression. Having said that, let us now move on to programming. Let us now write a very simple program whose task is to convert the temperature from the Celsius to the Fahrenheit. And the formula which we will be using for converting the temperature in Celsius to temperature in Fahrenheit is this one. Now the first thing that we need in our program is the main function, since it is from the main function that the execution of the program begins. So let's go ahead and add the main function. Now this is what our program looks like after the addition of the main function, whereby the return type of the main function is an integer return type, and that's the reason why I have returned an integer for the main function. The next thing that we need is the variable that is used to hold the Celsius value and the Fahrenheit value. And since these two values, Celsius and Fahrenheit, it can be of a decimal number as well. So let us try and make use of a proper data type for our Celsius and Fahrenheit variable. After declaration of the Celsius and the Fahrenheit variable, this is what our programs looks like. Now the next thing that we want to do is accept the value for the Celsius from the user, and in order to do that, we know that we need to make use of the cin function. The next thing that I have done is that I have made use of the cout function, which will prompt the user to enter the temperature in Celsius. And once the user enters the temperature, By making use of the cin function, I am storing the value inside of the Celsius variable. Now since we are making use of the cout and the cin function, we should remember to include the header file that supports the cout and the cin statement. And for that, let us go ahead and add the iostream header file. Now that we have added the iostream header file so that it can support our cout and the cin function, and we have also added the namespace std statement so that there won't be any namespace conflict within the program. The next thing that we need to do is we need to convert the Celsius value given by the user by making use of this particular formula and then store the result inside of the Fahrenheit variable. So let us go ahead and do that. So in this particular statement, I have made use of the formula provided to convert the Celsius value into Fahrenheit, and in order to achieve that, I have made use of arithmetic operator like the multiplication operator and the addition operator as well. Now that we have converted Celsius into Fahrenheit, the next thing that we need to do is output the result on the display screen, and for that let us make use of the cout function. Now in this particular statement, I am trying to output the result which is in Fahrenheit, and for that I have made use of the cout function followed by the message, the temperature in Fahrenheit. Pay close attention as to how I am making use of the escape sequence in the cout function. Sorry, cout is not a function, it is an instance, or we can say an object. And then after another insertion operator, I am passing the value held by the Fahrenheit to the cout object. Go ahead and execute our program. Since I am making use of an online compiler, I have to provide input from this particular tab. For those of you who are making use of the proper compiler, you will be prompted for the input on the display screen itself, where I have provided the current temperature, which as of now is 20.5 degrees Celsius, and I want this input to be converted into Fahrenheit. On executing the program, this is the output that we get, where our temperature in Celsius is converted into Fahrenheit. Let us now discuss about assignment operator.